At the least, that bot lane, which we haven't talked about, but the Enigma Mars is holding steady for both sides.
Nice
You are
toss back.
finding a little bit more form there, although.
Yeah, Panda Boo, big trouble. Tries to go back after Dismar, but he's going to be fine to walk out. Another kill to A-Team, and, you know, I said No Ping's draft looked a bit better, but I got to tell you, John, if Ego Boys keep this tri-lane up and they keep getting kills like this, Rises is going to be huge on this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he is going to hit an early spike, and that's very important for Ego Boys. If the Bloodseeker starts to stagnate, as we have seen before, it can really fall flat, especially against something like Luna. Luna is such a great hard carry skills into the late game, has multiple avenues of itemization, so you do want to start here.
Alone. Chase down Dark Mago. Meanwhile, top lane, Rises, going to be in a spot of danger, but he's going to be able to just walk back to his tier 1. So they split up the tri-lane for a bit, as we saw Kara had to try to come into the mid lane to help secure power runes, but that doesn't work out. Instead, back up towards the top lane he goes. And Rises is going to be targeted. Avalanche, Blood Rite, all being thrown out. Matthew going to take it all, but the Cold Feet is going to pan out this time. Rises does go down. Dismar going to be cautious as HFN hits the Lucent Beam. That's going to be a double kill. Of course, Pandaboo will get the tip from his carry.
Yeah, it's just so much early damage that can come out from a Luna. You can't underestimate the damage on Lucent Beam. Really easy setup to get that Cold Feet off as well. And it's just hard to contest. At the least, that's a bit of a reset for Rises. Gods come in with his boots this time around, so he is speedier as well. But I'd say overall, if you're no ping, you're happy with how the situation's going. Your Lena's finding equal form with the Bloodseeker, although...
HFN, bit of damage out with the Illuminate. They weren't really just focusing on one. In fact, Dismar, those tower hits are really starting to hurt that Tiny. Rise is still going to go for the dive underneath the tier 1, but Matthew is around, and now the Cold Feet out again. So Rises forced to back, Rocket Flare out. They are standing their ground now, No Ping. The levels do slowly come up, and I've got to tell you, this Cold Feet from Pandaboo is really starting to cause some problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so hard to trade. Like, you want to sit still, get the hits off because you're melee on the Tiny, but you're constantly targeted by the feet. Even the Bloodseeker, right? Like, he runs fast now because there are some low heroes around the map. But the moment everyone's healthy, you get Cold Feet up, you get cogsed up, you're stuck in a very awkward spot, and No Ping are just abusing the hell out of this tri-lane, just constantly keeping the aggression up. They know that HFN doesn't need a good laning start as long as he finds these kills, because he will flash farm faster than the Bloodseeker. It's just in the nature of the Luna. So you don't mind at all trading this kind of farm with Rises, because if need be, HFN can just dip into the jungle.
Look how Clockwork is going to TP down towards the bot lane now. Matthew trying to go for a bit of a surprise attack onto Tano. There's your arena being dropped. Oscar is dying to the Eidolons though. Matthew's going to come in, but he's still... Well, he has level 1 battery assault. It's not really going to do much damage though, and Tano is going to be fine to walk out of there. Meanwhile, the Radiant Triangle, they are going to go for a dive here on the side of Ego Boys into Pandaboo. And Pandaboo trying to get the deny off and does get it. Very, very nice. Wasting a lot of time from Ego Boys. They will get nothing for it.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good deny coming out from Pandaboo. A bit on edge, as it looked like he didn't have creep aggro, but he got it right at the last second. So they do salvage that situation. Ego Boys, not doing too bad. You know, they're lagging behind by less than 1k. They're finding a lot of farm on Alone. So our Monkey King is off to a spectacular start and should be active now. Has level 7 up, does a lot of damage. We have seen Alone willing enough to leave that mid lane. There's a smoke up top, though.
Riz. Rises. Needs to be slightly cautious. Dark Mage going to connect the turn, and now Dark Mago comes in. Rises. X back into the boat, but Alone a nice boundless strike into the Primal Spring. That'll allow Rises to back off for a little bit, as Alone is going to take all the aggression away. He does have more teammates coming in to try and help out. You see Dismar cutting them off now with an avalanche, and a toss will mean the Kunkka does die. The Ego Boys getting the better trade for now, but now they've got the Monkey King in the cogs, and that'll mean they get another kill. This time HFN will be the one to pick it up. A fairly even trade in that top lane. But I dare say you don't want to give too many kills away to this Luna. You don't want to help him escalate in farm this early.
Yeah, and HFN is already getting a lot. 3-0 on Luna so far. Has the jungle to dip into now as well. Can start building up. Has the Morbid Mask for lifesteal. So this is where our Luna sits back, farms up. And this is where Ego Boys needs to maybe get some forward wards out and get that information down to contest the Luna. You let this free farm, it is going to outscale the Bloodseeker just by pure farming pace. You don't have the same clear as the Bloodseeker does. And this should be good news overall for Noping. They don't maintain a huge lead though, as you are still getting more off the map. Eagle Boys have held that bot lane really well, although you are finding a lot of farm on Oscar and Arena Boys.
Kano caught in the arena with the spear, and Matthew is there as backup. He'll even take the kill on the clockwork. Great pickup there, but you see Oscar once again almost dying to the Eidolons. Matthew just feeling like he's forced to const them just to make sure they can't chase. But in the Radiant jungle, Dark Mago now going to be chased down by Alone and Dismar. And within the Wukong's command, they will be able to secure the kill. Just prior to the 10-minute bounty rune spawning up as well. Very nice pickup there for Ego Boys.
Yeah, it's an important kill for Alone to find. Again, he wants to escalate in this Monkey King fast to buy some space out. Not enough of a timely response here from Noping, so a bit of a trade. Still 6-5. They invade the triangle, which is important. And they might be able to find HFN if they want to commit.
Well, they get the boundless strike on HFN, but that's about it. So 2 for 2 on the bounties. Still a very even game, just less than 1k net worth lead here for Noping. I think this does obviously favor Noping with the net worth not really being out of control here. Black hole bot lane going to be committed straight onto that Kunkka, and this is one of the really poor things happening right now for Noping, is Dark Mago is not having a great game, and now Matthew going to be caught out of position as well and will go down. You even see Oscar, he ran in with a haste rune, but there's just nothing he can do up against 4 heroes.
No, it's a tricky fight to take. Really good use of that black hole here from Tano getting that kill. They can transition to a push. They've got the siege creep. They can get more Eidolons up soon. And you are going to force a response out here from Noping. Now, they do have their team fight back up. Kunkka is back up. Dark Mago still has boat. So if they want to, they can actually throw some bodies out here.
Spear is going to land into the Ice Blast. That'll be Dismar going down very quickly, but the T1 tower is also going to go down just as quick. Arena going to be dropped. They've even got the Monkey King with the tree cut of the arena. Tano's going to die. Alone's going to keep fighting, but the spear away into a tree is going to land. And Alone now needs to try and make a run for it, but Dark Mago is going to be there. He doesn't connect the torrent, but Alone is stuck within the trees, and he cannot get on top of him. The Kunkka will finally get some sweet, sweet revenge as they go for even more now. Matthew, he has the hook shot. Rises, is going to be able to juke them out, and Matthew won't go for the blind hook shot. He'll just leave the Bloodseeker be.
Yeah, that's still a really good trade coming out for Noping. Sure, they drop that bot tier 1, but they find all the kills they want, and they're giving space out to HFN, so he can focus on farm. They smoke up as well, as they do have the Ice Blast and hook still ready.
Yep. Anyone can die right now. Level 2 Battery Assault, level 3 Rocket Flare with an Ice Blast, and oh, they found Rises. Easy. Very, very easy there for Matthew and Pandaboo. Dismar and Kara going to rotate in to try and get a bit of revenge, but even if they get Matthew, it won't matter. He's going to be more than happy with this trade, and he might get away. He's got cogs up. Yeah, he'll just block the staircase. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of space out from Matthew, and they are keeping that Bloodseeker in good check. Rises is #1 in net worth for his team, but he's still lagging behind Dark Mago and way behind HFN. Again, the farming pattern of our Luna with a Mask of Madness up is just superior to the Bloodseeker, so they're not really getting control of this jungle. There are huge stacks being built up here as well. They did drop a sentry to block the Ancient Camp. That should be spotted out at some point here by Pandaboo if he notices, but overall, that's the extent of their contention. They dropped into the triangle once. HFN is still having a good time, and you have to worry about the Luna getting a bit too big here. Really pulling ahead in farm. And Eagle Boys, again, they just can't work that same farm out. Maybe Alone can, but he's not going for Battle Fury. He's obviously going for a more fight-oriented build. So a fight they must find very soon. They're going to have Black Hole in about 15. And once you do have Black Hole Wukongs plus maybe a Rupture on top, can net you some kills. They just need to find the right heroes to jump.
They do. And with all this time that's going by, John, HFN is still freely farming up with the MOM and Dragonlance up. It's not going to be long till he has another core item. It feels like they've really got to start trying to apply some more pressure here, Ego Boys.
Oscar. He dropped the arena, but there's a blink up already on Tano, so missed opportunity there.
Oscar, he doesn't seem to care though. Makes it a bit spicier as Kara is going to get a recall off, and I believe that will be time to smoke. Recall didn't actually bring anyone in, surprisingly. Won't matter though. They just want to try and get that blink black hole initiation going. Recall on Dismar is now there. Some nice positioning though from Noping. They seem to be very well aware that while the arena's down, they would go for a smoke. Especially with the blink up, but Tano still going to find the Mars. He's unwilling to black hole, and he will go for the Kunka instead. The X is there, but it's not going to be fast enough. Still the hook shot in from Matthew onto Kara, and Tano is probably going to die to the Ice Blast. Kara's gone as well, and they're just going to chase them down. Dark Mago, X up. He'd love to get Rises, and he will get him. Rupture's out, but is it going to matter? Probably not. As Dismar even spotted with the rocket player now, and they're just going to hunt the rest down. No arena necessary, John.
Yeah, it's tricky for Ego Boys. It all boils down to that tri-lane top. Like, they might have felt like they shut down a Luna. It wasn't really the case, because HFN was finding the kills, and he still had a jungle to go back to. So the initial farm, as long as Rises wasn't finding more than HFN was, it was always going to be better for the Luna when they found the kills, and they did find them. They're playing around these cooldowns well. With no black hole, Tano is not going to be showing up now. It's just going to focus in on the farm for the BKB. Of course, even with the BKB, it's risky, because the hook shot is there to cancel through that spell immunity, so you will have to watch your positioning there. Although, speaking of that positioning, HFN is pretty far out, but they're not going to be able to make a move.
Yeah, he's got a scan there. He knows Dismar's around. It's not going to lead to anything anyway, because you haven't got the blink up on the Tiny yet, and the timing's getting very late now. Even for a pos 4 Tiny, you'd really hope for it earlier than that. That hook shot is going to be there onto Rises, into the Ice Blast and the Cold Feet, and Rises, he can't survive the damage output. Alone, he'll settle for a clockwork kill. Oscar, though, is not going to have him. Spear? Never mind, Dismar's still going to go, but that spear should have connected on that arena. I'm very sure.
I have no clue. You know how it is sometimes. The angles are a bit odd in some spots, so I'm going to be really counting your lucky stars there.
I don't know if it's an angle problem, John. It's literally a circle. It's Alone. Going to be chased down a bit. Oscar gets the Yules off. He can't really Primal Spring or Tree Dance right now. God's Rebuke going to connect, and Oscar is literally just going to TP away. That's a great TP as well. There was a lot of rotations in from Ego Boys, but they're not going to be able to get anything out of it.
And this hurts Ego Boys a ton. 16-8, 10k lead up for No Ping. All of this is down to the fact that every time they force movement out, HFN is in the opposite side of the map, clearing out the creep wave top, clearing out that top jungle. They've got this forward ward to watch the upper part of that top jungle as well to keep HFN safe. And he's just building up massively now. He's got his BKB all done. This is a huge boon for the Luna, and they might just go for a Roche play.
Why the hell not? HFN would happily take a Roshan fight right now with Ego Boys with this 10-second BKB charge. Got the Eclipse at level 1, doesn't even bother going to the level 2 mark because, you know, he's not fighting. The faster he can farm, the better for his team, and he is farming very, very fast. Almost 5k ahead, the Monkey King. Just about 4.5.
It's the flash farm. You know, the Luna is one of those heroes that you leave in the jungle for 5 minutes, just pulls ahead by a huge amount. And Eagle Boys were just never able to control that jungle. So they lose the Aegis. I mean, they get the Aegis on the side of No Ping. Eagle Boys just unaware, no wards around the area besides behind the pit, not spotting that movement out.
HFN straight up to that tier 2 top tower. Probably going to be able to make short work of it after the glyph. Love the fact that he's got that lifesteal neutral item as well, so he's had inbuilt lifesteal since the 10-minute mark. TP in though, bot lane, they want to defend the tier 2 tower. Tano does have Black Hole, but can't blink right now because of that Ice Blast passive. Can now, but looks like Oscar might actually find... No, he doesn't. They're so close you could smell him, but he's just going to walk away. Tano might be able to get this this creep wave skipped if he really gets the timing right, but he hasn't. Meanwhile, Yules is going to come out into the Eclipse. Was that a recall from Kara?
Yes. Yes, it was. I don't know. It's like that is a strange one. They go in, they see the cores there. They lose their 2 supports. I mean, they don't lose their cores on Eagle Boys end, so that's a bit of a plus, but No Ping are just going to take the freebies, go for the spot objective, and oh, arena drop could have been on point. So close, Oscar.
They found Tano anyway. Tano trying to creep skip the wave with Eidolons, but he's going to get picked off. The supports of No Ping were very well aware that the Enigma was probably still around that area, as now Rise is going to get X'd up.
Yes.
Bow in. Should land. Bloodright going to deny some area, but Torrent is also going to land into a very nice speed by Oscar. This is turning into a real big stomp now. The pings are starting to fly out from every single player. Rise is copying the ping tips this time as Matthew, nice hook shot into a 2-man cogs. Panda Boot, no Ice Blast yet. Alone, however, is still just going to drop. HFN is just way too far ahead on this Luna.
Yeah, it's uncontrollable at this point. You don't have any of the natural Luna counters as well that we always tended to see before, something like the Shadow Demon, to get some Luna illusions in your end. None of that here. So it's a difficult game for Eagle Boys. They still are waiting for this BKB on Tano. They're relying on the Black Hole, which again is just not the strength of the hero anymore. It's such a long cooldown. It's very hard to get in the right spot with all the stunts on hand. So Tano is going to have to find an angle in this high ground defense if he doesn't find that BKB fast.
SNY now up on the Luna. And just a casual Reaver queued up for HFN. Hasn't decided what he wants yet. Black Hole mid lane. They catch out Oscar. There's your Black Hole gone, but at least they get something for it. Meanwhile, Dark Mago just going to go into Kara by himself and connects the boat. That'll be a keeper gone. Tano also going to die to Matthew. It's a real disaster here in this game 1 for Ego Boys as they get the X again onto Rises, but they can't really follow up on it. Almost getting that high ground torrent, but it won't matter. They're just going to go straight high ground now. And it's starting to look like No Ping has almost got this one in the bag. Not guaranteed yet, but it's a very tough ask of Ego Boys to come back from this game.
It's a difficult one. No Black Hole means there's not much threat here from the side of Eagle Boys. They do have a Desolator up on Alone, so he does do more damage. The issue is, it doesn't feel like it's enough. And I was taking a look at No Ping. They're really prioritizing HFN here. They gave him the Tome so he could hit 18 into the high ground. So he's got max level Eclipse ready to go in case a fight does break out.
Yeah, I mean, I like
good
that.
Scan as well.
Max Eclipse is going to be impossible to fight into. You still haven't got a BKB on Alone either. And HFN, quick BKB into Disma. Meanwhile, Oscar with the Yules up on the Monkey and gets a spear into the arena. No buybacks. That's at least one Rax gone. He went for the Deso on the MK, feeling like they need damage, but without the BKB, he can't fight it. Now Tano.
Oh no.
Great X into a hook shot, and that's your Enigma gone as well. He has buyback, but Black Hole's still on cooldown for another 70 seconds or so. And like I said, John, it's one Rax guaranteed. Probably more like 2.
Yeah, I mean, they can't stop it. Like, you're just not enough, and they're trying to be aggressive as well. But the objectives should just melt. Rupture just does nothing, although the toss back.
A nice toss back, Dark Mago. He's going to BKB up, and look at the damage out on Disma. Matthew, great cogs to break some distance between Rises and Dark Mago, and they're just going to keep going for the racks. Nice and
This
easy.
is just...
Ice Blast is going to be enough. Panda Boo. This is going to be one of the better AA performances I've seen in a very long time from Panda Boo, I've got to tell you, John. Very impressive stuff. And no ping.
He's got all the setup. And, I mean, I have to point it out as well. Dark Mago, when he was jumped, he popped his BKB. He had a regen. The only thing that hit him was Blood Right. And with BKB, that meant the regen just kept going. Like, they have so much on hand here to play with. And there's just no stopping this. This is a Luna without Manta for push. And that's the tendency we used to see. And now...
Oh, alone. I'm not sure about that. The T2 tower was already dead. There's just no point in trying to do that. I guess desperate times call for desperate measures, but that was almost a guaranteed death there for the MK. Maybe a bit of a misclick. Tier 3 tower, under siege. HFN, a man of business, not wasting any time. How do you stop this? Black hole
We
to
have black
Wukongs, maybe?
hole. Just don't have the BKB. It's just very difficult to get the ideal black hole. And I guess that's their last ditch effort. They're gonna lose the racks, but this is enough time for the respawn to come out. There's still one rack standing here.
Uh-oh.
And no King's gonna have to work their way there.
Oh no. In danger. Matthew gonna hold him down for a bit, but Matthew is all alone at the moment. The rest of his team just sticking around that high ground, not interested in helping the clockwork. But no, as I say that, Mago's gonna be here. Cogs push back into the X-back. Rupture is there from Rises, but Matthew, he might die. He will. Rises gets something for his trouble, but Dark Mago's gonna chase him down. And towards the north, they are melting. HFN helping out and killing Alone and Disma.
That's gonna be the last set of racks. There's no buyback in the Enigma, no buyback in the Monkey. They will lose one more as well.
Arena down, Oscar. Setting up another there with the Kunkka, and they still have not called GG. I appreciate their spirit, but this is well and truly over. There's no way to come back from this. Dota plus, 99%.
Yeah, it's pretty clear cut. And HFN again pulling that Luna out, just having a spectacular run. Has the Satanic on, queuing up the Butterfly next, I think. And there's just nothing to stop him. Now with the Satanic, he's got a lot of life steal to play with. Just gonna be hard to burst down in the middle of a fight. And I mean, the tier 4s don't hold. It's a Luna. Objectives just do not last long at all.
Panda Boo literally drops all his items. Ring of Basilius, Glimmer Cape, Force Staff. He wants someone to come in. Nobody takes the bait. Ancient now exposed and under siege. Still no GG call coming out. What's the play? They're just sitting in their fountain.
Nah, I think that's it.
Right. Alone just breaking his items. Classic pub game here. Toss back into HFN. And there's your GG call now being made. Maybe just a bit of a chat with the team before they called it.
Yeah, definitely needed here for Ego Boys. Very dominant victory for No Ping in game number 1. Pulling out that Luna once more for HFN. And he is the guy to look at for the Luna right now. No one else picking that hero but him, making it work well. They had this beautiful setup as well. Dark Mago on that Kunkka holding out on his own in the mid. And the tri-lane versus tri-lane just didn't work out the way Eagle Boys wanted to. They were getting a bit more down bot, you could argue, but the Mars was drawing with the Enigma. And again, it comes down to the fact that if you run a tri-lane against Luna, and Luna gets 3 kills, it doesn't matter that she doesn't find laning creeps. She always has the jungle, and she will always clear it faster than almost every hero. Almost every hero.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely one of the faster ones, and I do agree, John. HFN is making Luna look very, very strong right now. Of course, with that, we do have a Game 2 coming up between these two, and that does mean a server switch. We'll see how much that does affect No Ping and Ego Boys in that game number 2. With that, it is MLP, Dota, and John X Fire, and we'll be back in roughly 10 minutes for that second game. for the delays. We were having some connection issues, but we have made it into the draft, and I'll be bringing up that draft rather shortly. It is MLP Dota and John X Fire, though. John, welcome back, sir. How did you do during the break? Did you enjoy your extended break this time?
That I did. It should be an interesting matchup here for No Ping up against Ego Boys. You have to remember, this time around it's on Brazil servers, and as far as I know, No Ping are the ones in Brazil. So game one was supposedly for them the ping disadvantage. Now that they're playing on Brazil, any ping disadvantage they might have had should be gone. And we'll see how that plays in for Ego Boys. They are leaving the HFN Luna in for no ping. They could potentially pick it up in this phase if they're confident, but they more than likely will save it for the second phase. And we've seen HFN really ruin a lot of games for that. Just on point with a hero. They forced the tri lane. They weren't finding as much farm, but they were finding a lot of kills and just transitioned to the jungle well. They had a runaway start. Ego Boys, we saw the tiny pick. It didn't go to alone. We'll see if they change it up here as No Ping do immediately start with the Timber Saw into the Witch Doctor. So that's a message out from No Ping saying that we don't mind a Witch Doctor. The Timber Saw is not going to care for Maledict. We will just go all in and try to run down fast. Timber Saw is a very snowbally hero that No Ping can really draft around now.
No, it is certainly a very confident pick here from No Ping into that Witch Doctor, but like you said, if they're not on ping and they were last game around, then obviously they're going into this game pretty confident that they should be able to win out this this series 2-0. Nevertheless, now they are up against an Ursa as well, which makes things even harder, as you have direct counters both ways against the Timber. Of course, Timber can just chain away most of the time, but it's still not going to be an easy laning stage regardless when you have Witch Doctor Ursa up against you. Still no ping, seeing that position 1 Ursa being picked up now. Can try to find something that does do decently well up against that Ursa. I imagine for now, though, they'll probably go for a bit of a support pickup here for the Timbersaw. Maybe even just a +5 for the safe lane. Probably no real rush for them to get a position 1. Unless they really want the Luna back, but then you probably don't want Luna into Ursa anyway. There are plenty of better options. I mean, you've got the Troll, you've got the PA. Even things like the Monkey King can be okay up against the Ursa with Wukongs. Plenty of options to go for, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
go for an
they don't
Invoker
necessarily
pick.
need it. That is going to be an interesting one here for No Ping Esports. Allows them to pick a variety now of pause ones. Like the Luna is now a bigger option because you've got Alacrity, but Eagle Boy smartly banned it out. No option for Luna plus Invoker. That is such an old combo now. You don't see that at all. But Alacrity on Luna melts everyone. So they're taking care of all these physical cores now that might be able to build off the Invoker. They're leaving in the PA and Troll, as you mentioned, though. So those are still pretty darn viable for No Ping if they want to pick those up. In fact, they could go for something even further back. They could try the Faceless Void with the Invoker, right? The Cataclysm, once the Ags is up, the play around the Chronosphere. That's one way as well for No Ping to build up. You can only ban so many of these combos out if you're on Ego Boy's end.
Absolutely. One more ban for either team. We get to see these drafts continue. I wonder, is this supposed to be a support Invoker we're looking at, John? Could be the mid Invoker, but it seems a bit early to just go straight for a mid Invoker. It's not like you're expecting the Invoker to get banned out.
I think it's more of just the confidence. They keep the flexibility on hand for their supports to come in, and they just want to secure this Invoker so that they can take that physical core that the Invoker will enable. So they might have something specific in mind. I don't know about support Invoker. We've seen that once or twice in Pause 4. We've even seen it in Pause 5 before. Not the biggest fan, despite the memes around that hero. The timings are very strange. I think you're better off running it for Dark Mago. And I think the confidence comes out from the fact that they've already taken care of Nyx. They've already taken care of Puck. So those are probably the natural encounters to Invoker in mid and on support, which means you have a lot of room to just build up here on No Ping's side. They do ban out the TA and the Kunkka as well, just preventing some of those mid matchups that are good. And they take out the Morph. They go into the CM. So it looks like it's time to just lock in probably their support plus their last core and save the pause 4 for the last pick. And that's one way that could break out, as if they leave their core into the last pick, they might not have many choices left because Eagle Boys have been very on point with these pause 1 bans.
All right. Eagle Boys, their third pickup. Maybe position 4 here. They don't really need to reveal too much yet. And they'll go for the Earth Spirit, fair enough. Pretty valuable pick as well, right? The Earth Spirit, plenty of control, a lot of magic damage for the Timber. Silence is pretty nice. Into pretty much all the picks from No Ping, and when you see a CM on the other side as an Earth Spirit, it kind of feels nice. Gives you that one target that you know you can burst down by yourself if you need to. Mind you, that is probably going to be a Matthew CM, and yesterday I predicted it was going to be a terrible Crystal Maiden game, and he completely proved me wrong. So I say it should be easy pickings for this ES, but the way Matthew positions his Crystal Maiden, he does make it very, very hard for you to actually get in the backlines and pick him off. And if you do, you've generally overextended. He'll usually just pop the freezing field and just go from there. You usually get caught with your pants down if you try to jump him.
Yeah. Can be tricky. We'll see if Matthew can replicate that performance here today. No Ping are taking their time with their next pick, probably wondering if they want the pause 4 first or their core. As again, if they don't pick that core up, it's more than likely going to be banned out. So they are just setting their priorities up. They do go for the Dark Willows. They go for their support duo. That does mean our Invoker is confirmed for mid. Dark Willow CM is not a support duo you see too often, and that does give them some decent control coming out. You've got the Bramble Maze, you've got the Root from the CM as well, so you have a lot of ways of keeping heroes down, but not instantaneously, except for the CM Root. So there's a bit more pressure on the CM to stay alive, to ensure that they lock in one hero guaranteed, and then build off from there. That's one thing No Ping will have to actually do, is ensure that Matthew just doesn't get blown up as fast as Eagle Boys would want him to be.
Okay. Final banouts are soon to come. We do have one more pickup left for Ego Boys before we get to that stage. Still 2 more cores to go here for Ego Boys. You'd assume they just go for the off-lane pickup now. They still aren't really aware of what safe lane is going to be there for No Ping, so maybe you go for your own mid lane pickup now because you know you should be up against the Invoker, and leave the off lane till the last pick, and that way you can at least get a favorable matchup for yourself. See what they do decide on. It's not like the Invoker
down low.
It's not like the Invoker is generally that dominant of a mid either, but they'll go for the Beastmaster for now. So one of those pickups where you can kind of just dominate no matter who you're up against, especially if they're obviously a melee core. So the Beastmaster picked up, nice pick there. We'll go into that final ban stage where we do see Ego Boys. They get rid of the Troll. Probably the PA coming up next.
And the Beastmaster is really good in preemptively making it hard to pick something like the Faceless Void now here as well. So if you go for the Void, you don't catch the Beastmaster in the Chrono, then you're always going to have Roar to stop it. So it's a nice preemptive pick, covering up some holes in terms of maybe dealing with the Void Invoker combination. They can also just ban it out anyway if Eagle Boys feels like that's a pick. Again, we haven't seen Void in a very long time. Across multiple regions, just sort of faded off, although the Invoker Void combo was fairly popular in the last year. So it's still somewhat an option here for No Ping. They are thinking hard about the bans, and knowing that the Beastmaster is there off, though, they are probably looking at the off lanes to take out the NP, which is one way to build the push up on Eagle Boys when they have the Beastmaster. Of course, Eagle Boys do take out the PL. PL into Ursa is rather good for the PL. Just get the diffusal up and start running down. We have seen that matchup also fall flat, but I think that was more down to a greedier draft rather than the PL itself. So they just take care of these natural matchups against the Ursa. They leave the Void, they leave the PA. There's are still options there for No Ping if they want. And No Ping, smartly enough, ban out the Lycan, as you could run Lycan mid, and then you could rush Ags, and then you have Ursa Lycan, just like we've seen in Southeast Asia.
I was going to bring that up as well, because I thought the Lycan was one of the better picks that Ego Boys could make, especially if they are going to be playing on pretty bad ping here. The Lycan doesn't really need to have low ping to play well. It's a pretty easy hero. Not much micro necessary either. Ego Boys, however, into the Riki they go. So that should be a mid Riki we're looking at. I suppose it should do okay into the Invoker.
Yeah. We've actually seen that matchup before, I think in Southeast Asia when we were casting, and the Ricky actually comes out on top, depending on how you play with your Blink Strike and with your tricks, but you can dodge a lot of the Invoker's damage. You can get yourself out of danger, and No
Oh.
Ping do go with the Naga, so they've got this sleep combination coming in. They can pull out ASAP. The Ricky, I mean, it can deal with illusions with the Ag's Battle Fury, but we're talking about a lot of illusions potentially coming out here from HFN, so it's still not quite the ideal. We'll have to see how that does boil down. Does give No Ping another way of getting some disables off, so they've got 3 sources of root now, and that can make it tricky for the Ursa and Ricky to jump in and out. So pretty nice closer here for No Ping. Another hero that's not necessarily in meta, but HFN probably just feel confident on it, and they've got some good buffs and good combinations to play with here.
Yeah, I think it's quite nice of the Beastmaster to boot, right? Because you have the Riptide, so you can clear through the boars. Very high armor hero, the Naga Siren, so you don't really get as much damage when you are hit by those boars as well. And of course, like you already talked about, all the combinations they have with the song are going to be very impactful, I'm sure, going into this game number 2. I assume you believe the No Ping draft is better than Ego Boys this game too as well.
Yeah, yeah, I am liking it. I think they've got the answers for what Eagle Boys wants to do. Naga's just going to kite around the Ursa when it comes down to the early fight until a BKB flies in for Rises. So there's that issue. You do have decent illusion clear again with Ricky Ags up and with the Beastmaster Axes being thrown out. That is one way to keep Naga down, but it boils down to the fact that when it comes to farm, this Naga is almost the same as a Luna. You spam your illusions out, you send them across multiple camps, you'll clear out those camps one by one, or multiple times if your illusions are strong enough. And we've just seen HFN really maximize these sort of farming heroes. If Eagle Boys allow him to get that space out, not much will change from game one. So we have to see the aggression come out from Eagle Boys. They have to take control of that jungle and ensure HFN just doesn't get the free farm he wants to find here.
Yeah, which is a pretty hard ask, but they've got the draft for it. Definitely pretty possible for them to just roam around as a team, abuse this Beastmaster with his Hawks, and just gain vision across the map, and just try to make sure that HFN can't freely farm up. Of course, if they are going to be on much larger ping this game around, that could be hard for them to get done, but I have faith in Ego Boys. See what they can do. Of course, HFN already just chilling out, scouting around, seeing Tano for a second.
30 seconds.
Like he probably hasn't got much to be afraid about anyway. I don't think they can really kill the Naga Siren at level 1 right now. Not unless they have 3 heroes around, and even then, she is pretty darn tanky with 7 base armor to get started. She's even going to send the illusions out very early to get that scouting out, and maybe even try to deny a bounty rune off towards the northern bounty rune. Kara's going to fight for it, but oh, Kara's actually maybe disconnected here. Walking back, he does get a pause off. See if the deny can come out. I mean, the Naga Siren attack animation's not actually too bad.
Yeah, it's a pretty snappy one. Of course, you don't want to get that rune denied. Going 2-1 for bounties is never a good time at the start. So we'll have to see if Kara can walk up. Still has time, 7 seconds until it spawns up. So could probably gap close and just spam those right clicks. A bit of lag coming out here from Ego Boys. So it does look like there's a connection issue. Gonna have to wait for the reconnect. And we'll just have to see how it unfolds. Looking pretty good here so far. I think we might see No Ping again go for that first blood attempt up top. They are keeping their supports kind of tied in here. If not top, then maybe mid. Pandaboo's ready to spam out his spells with 4 mangoes, 2 stacks. And Matthew is ready with 2 fairy fires to beef up that right click damage just a bit more.
We have another disconnection here from Dismar this time. We'll just wait for this reconnection from Kara. You know, John, we don't get to watch South American Dota very often, you and I. We usually are. Before we came to NA, we were usually doing the SEA and sometimes the Chinese region, so we didn't get to see these regions as much. I've got to say, though, it's very impressive. I think I said this yesterday, but I think a lot of people underestimate the talent that's coming out of South America and America for that region. For that reason, it's they're pretty darn good, John. I think as time goes on and they get a bit more practice and more players start to pop up, this could be one of the stronger regions.
Yeah, it's highly competitive. We have seen solid build-up from South America as time passes, and seeing the playstyle they do bring out here is fun. It reminds me a lot of
Of
how
SEA.
Southeast Asia was.
Yep.
Yeah, all the way back. I think 2 years back, 3 years back, Southeast Asia was in that same situation where the talent was there. You just needed, solid captains coming in, and that was the time when we got we got Pai Lai Dai coming in, we had 1437, we had players like that come into the scene and hold their own. So yeah, I think if South America gets a moment like that, maybe get more vets into the scene to help spread that experience around, it can be a really solid foundation. But as it is, it's already really competitive. We've seen these South American teams take games off the NA teams, take wins in series as well.
Yeah.
So they are not. This is not a region to count out. And I think it's a bit of an unfair judgment to just write them off.
I mean, Dota people can be a little unfair with their judgments, John, as we tend to be, I can admit that I can judge unfairly sometimes. Nevertheless, look forward to seeing lands come back, which is where we're really going to see how every region's looking. But I always appreciate the regions that are bringing new ideas to the table, right? So it feels like every region tries to emulate what Europe's doing, which is fine, because, understandably, they are arguably the best region right now. But I like bringing in the new ideas, and I think that's the way you beat the best teams in the world, is just catching them by surprise. Not just copying them. Because if you copy somebody, generally speaking, you're never going to be as good as the original.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you want to find your own ideas. You want to play around your own strengths, and we are seeing a lot of that in South America. Although we do get the go-ahead, Kara is going to stay around to try and take that rune. Illusion not going to live through the hits.
Yeah, it's going to expire anyway. You wouldn't have had enough time. Bit of missed time there, but it doesn't matter. 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Pretty even trade.
Yeah, nothing too exciting. You do start with a solo lane for HFN, so Dismar is just going to slap him around a bit. Do have that early aggressive start once more here from NoPing. Have Matthew scouting out. They've got the same forward ward, not contested, not dewarded at all, and Ryze is just going to cop a couple of hits while his creep wave is still going under the tower. Pandaboo going to look for that first blood opportunity. A bit tricky, as Ursa is slightly tanky, but they're going to try.
Rises. Oh, he's gone. It works out. First blood already going the way of NoPing, and of all heroes to kill, they get the position 1 of Ego Boys, and of course the voice lines do start as Pandaboo now. Straight after Dismar. Dismar might be dead here. He hasn't got the roll up. He can boulder smash to slow down Pandaboo, but he's just going to keep chasing, and Pandaboo pops the clarity. Not in range for the frostbite yet anyway. Dismar will salve up, but this is going to be so much regen it's going to go, and I think Dismar's still dead. Pandaboo's going to have it. Yeah, he's going to TP out. He can't pull this away. And there you go. Tip for Tano. He's not going to get the creep equilibrium his way either. And that's a little great play from Pandaboo, just making sure they can't fix the equilibrium.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough start for that Beastmaster. As you mentioned already, the Naga in this lane can hold its own. Tano's not getting too much harassment out. And even Dismar, again, walks back in, gets just rooted up with a Frostbite, and is suddenly just in an awkward spot with no regen.
His game's ruined. I'm telling you right now, as an Earth Spirit player, John, his game is ruined. I mean, he's rushing an urn, he's got no regen, No boots. He can't do anything in the lane, not even an Orb of Venom to try and go after Panda Boo, and every time he gets close, he gets hit, and he is probably dead. And he is. Nice easy kill there for the CM. This is going to be a very hard Earth Spirit game. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun. HFN getting a lot of space out because of this. Not as much presence you can expect from Tano. He did go for the Axis level 1, so it looks like he might actually just opt for the Wild Axis build to try to apply that harassment onto the Naga. He doesn't have enough mana to sustain that, although he will have a second Sage's Mask coming in, but it's only so many spells he can toss out, and HFN already off to a very smooth start in that Naga.
Of course, mid lane, you've got Dark Mago there up against Alone, and Alone is having a really nice time right now on that Riki. Of course, you talked about in the drafting phase, but the Riki generally does outlane the Invoker in a 1v1 matchup. Still very, very strong. However, bot lane is where the action is again. Tano is going to go down now to HFN. Another tip out from our Naga Siren. It's really tough. Like, the Beastmaster's kind of stuck solo laning now, but he's got an Earth Spirit that's going to be soaking XP off him. So he's in a dual lane while having to win it by himself. Meanwhile, top lane, looks like Rises is going to die again on the Ursa, and now Kara is going to get dived under the tier 1, but Oscar has gone too far. He did underestimate the Melodic damage, and Matthew is not going to be able to finish off the kill onto the Witch Doctor, but you're still very happy about that. You got the Ursa before you died.
Yeah, and you're forcing the support on Kara to pop the salve on himself. He might be able to find his follow-up kill in Matthew, though.
Matthew does go down. Kara gives him the tip. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a consolation prize. You're still not very happy about dropping yours. Oscar's still off to a really good start, saving up for his Soul Ring, and with the CM Aura active, Oscar has a lot of spam here.
Turns around for the Mango. That may mean Tano could be dead. They get him with the Brambles, but they'll go after the Spirit instead. Dismar to go down, and Matthew will take the kill. So 1-for-1 trade. Tano is sort of fighting back now on that Beastmaster. However, Shadow Realm is there from the Dark Willow. Can he get the hit off? Not quite. But Matthew is going to haunt Tano here. Would love to get that Cursed Crown off. Dismar is going to come back in. Matthew may have gone a bit too far, but another Brambles is there with the Cursed Crown, and Tano, he's trapped up and gone. Dismar, again, just can't help. Not with the items he has.
They tried to get the chase off onto Oscar while he's solo, but at level 4, the Timbersaw is very hard to keep locked in, even with the Maledict running. They don't manage to find that kill.
And they don't, and Dismar barely getting away with his own life, having to commit another salve. Matthew was very close to dying himself, but he's going to be okay to back off. Meanwhile, Oscar trying to go back onto Kara. Again, got to be careful about that Melodic damage, but he is still just going back onto the Witch Doctor. The Melodic is going to be nowhere near enough this time.
Yeah, he's just forcing them to throw these spells out consistently. You are getting more levels up on Kara, level 3 Maledict up now with level 2 Cask. So if you dive again, should be some position to punish, but you're very low in HP, and Oscar also hits his level 5. This is an awkward lane for Rice's Hope.
Tano. It's just so tough. HFN is going to try and get away. Tricks the trade. Oh, that's a nice play Alone. Getting 2 of them now. Very, very nice Riki rotation into Dark Mago. They might even find a triple kill here. It's Matthew will be able to take Dismar, and Alone had no Blink Strikes left. Still, a very nice rotation here from our Riki. That was a great dodge on the song with the tricks of the trade.
Yeah, it's just giving them those kills, finally finding the kill onto HFN, which was much needed. So they equalized lanes just a bit, and Ego Boys drag that lead back to less than 1k the way of no ping. And you are seeing Alone start to really kick up. Dark Mago is keeping up in terms of last hits, but the Riki now is starting to hit a bit of a power spike in terms of raw damage. So you do have to watch yourself on that Invoker. If you let the Riki jump you up, and he gets Smokescreen up, you're not going to be alive for too long.
Absolutely not. Bit of a tri-lane down bot now. Tano, got to be careful not to get too close to the creep wave. Pandavu going to be spotted. Tano, still level 4. course, with the Roar, you might be able to dive onto the CM, but without it, it's just no chance in hell. How's our Ursa doing? Arises, he has been catching up in terms of CS. Of course, still behind the Naga, but that's to be expected. Just a Ring of Health for now, so not really anywhere near the Battle Fury timing, but I think he has an item coming out. No, just the phase boots and the courier. So just trying to catch up in terms of itemization. Might be a slightly late Battle Fury timing. Meanwhile, mid, Dark Mago, in danger, is going to try and run away. In fact, he might just turn around and fight back with a great Curse Crown out from Matthew. Landing on 2, Blink Strike back onto the Invoker, but the Frostbite Pandaboo.
Oh my god.
Oh, they turn it around perfectly. No ping. The supports of no ping, John. Just really nice coordination.
Yeah, and they even find a solo kill up top. Oscar does pop the Maledict, but it doesn't matter. You found the Ursa. And I wanted to point this out earlier. Kara's the one getting EXP. It's the Witch Doctor who's at level 6. Your Ursa was 5. When Kara was 5, the Ursa was really at fresh 4. So it's been a slow start up top. They aren't falling behind in farm, which is the good thing for Ego Boys. They're still keeping up in terms of net worth. But the map control is starting to shrink. They need to fight this out and stop Dark Mago.
You know what the beauty of that is, John? If this was a pub game, it wouldn't be Rise's fault. It'd be the Witch Doctor's fault. Here we go. Rise's gonna die again. Pink tips come out. Meanwhile, mid lane, they're trying to go onto Pandaboo, who is literally just standing his ground up against the lone. He will eventually die, but that's a 3-man rotation for a Crystal Maiden kill. Dark Mago has a DD rune. Alone. Hold snaps up. He gets dusted up. Alone might just be dead. He blink strikes to the high ground, but a Tornado out with the EMP. Alone is dead, and Dismar also going to go down to the Bedlam damage of Matthew. They're trying to play on the edge here, Ego Boys, but I think their egos might be getting to them here, John. Got to sit back and maybe just get a bit more farmer.
Yeah, it's not going well. I mean, they can't even threaten HFN because he just dips into the jungle, gets his own farm up, is leading the pack now in terms of last hits and net worth, 4.1k on the Naga compared to Rises at 3.2. And you do have level 6 up on Tano. Maybe you get something down here.
Oh, they're definitely going to find something. No. Kara, the unfortunate victim of the Bedlam. Tano going to try and escape, but no. Dark Mago with the Tornado just in the nick of time, and Tano is gone. This is really good team play, I got to tell you. It's very, very impressive. I mean, you could argue they're at a ping disadvantage for Ego Boys, but even last game, when no ping were at a ping disadvantage, it was the same thing. They just coordinate so well as a team.
That they do. They just know where to move, know the timings they need to hit. You've got this Ricky who wants to go hunting around. Does find Matthew, but...
Can he get him? Shadow Realm's there. Pandaboo, Frostbite out.
Oh boy.
Freezing Field, the roll is going to save the life of the Ricky, but now the song's there. HFN is going to allow Pandaboo to salve. Earn is going to cancel. Do they really want to go back in? Not when Matthew pops the Bedlam like that. Just making sure nobody dies, and Alone, one of the courier can't go for it. Oh, what a dust out from Matthew with the scan out. Alone onto the high ground, will avoid the Tornado. Still trying to run.
Courier
He'll go for the TB, the courier. Cold Snap, not going to make it.
Oh man,
just so on the edge.
They're just hunting down everywhere. They're buying space out as well because now Oscar is dragging a couple of supports up top. Level 8 on the Timb, so he's just running around at the top tier 1 at 31 HP, should be denied, although they catch him out.
Yep, Death Ward down as well. Oscar tanking through, but is going to die. You know what, John? I blame that on you. You called it Tim again, and look what happens. Oscar having a perfect
Roar.
game. Roar in the mid lane. Dark Mago now going down. What have you done, John?
It's Tim. You can't convince me otherwise. It's Tim. There are multiples of us. Dozens, Mike. Dozens who say Tim.
Ego Boys. T1 mid tower. Gonna go down. Onto Matthew. Pandaboo there with the Frostbite. Now the Brambles into the Bedlam. It's just so much damage, but not quite enough. The Tricks of the Trade is out on Oscar. Could not get through Alone in time. They're going to chain forward after Kara, but missed the Chakram. Has another chains. Whirling Death up soon, but Kara, Cask, is going to connect, of course, but Chakram is there now. Roll in, that is a very, very dangerous roll in, but with the smoke screen, perhaps they might be able to find something. They'll just turn back around now with the Terrorize onto the Earth Spirit, and that is going to be Disma going down. Alone, going to get dusted up as well. Oscar, he's not done yet. He wants another. He's not going to find it. Nice blink strike away there from Alone, and Pandaboo will get the tip, though I'm not sure why.
Not quite sure as well, but this does open up the mid-tower push now, and it is gone. Nice deny from Alone. Not going to cost him his life. There's no man on Oscar, but this is all, pretty much all tier 1 towers gone. The top one is hanging on at 31 HP, and just again, Noping finding these early objectives, playing to their momentum while buying space out for HFN.
Dark Mago, look at the damage he's dealing right now with this Cold Snap Spirit Vessel. Rises just melts. Pandaboo was there, but I don't think he was needed. Just this Invoker. So darn strong.
It's been a runaway start for Dark Mago. The mid lane matchup was pretty darn good for the Ricky. And again, I'm surprised they left that tier 1 top not to be denied. Still down bot. Tano?
Tano falling quite low. Alone is around. He's going to blink strike into Matthew, but there are 3 heroes he has to contest. Matthew going to survive, but he's underneath the Hawk. Alone going to go after Pandaboo. Does get the Crystal Maiden, and Oscar is out of mana. He has Arcane Boots in a second. He'll chain away from the Death Ward. Chains back in. They'd love to pick off Alone with a perfect Tornado, but the tricks of the trade in there in time. Alone still in danger, but he'll blink strike to the low ground. Thus, not going to be there in time. No ping. Gonna have to lose that Crystal Maiden. But you know, while all this is happening, and this happened last game as well, we kind of forget about HFN, who is top of the net worth board on the Naga and is continuing to just freely farm up.
Yeah, I mean, he's up there, 7.6k, way beyond Rises, 2k up above from any core next to him. It's just been a free run in terms of farm. Probably going to go for that Diffusal, as we tend to see. And once you've got Manta Diffusal on Naga, you can really start running heroes down. Like, you've got so much damage. You've got the Ensnare up to help you trap some heroes in. And Tano.
Oh, don't show yourself to that Naga right now. The Illusion's going to be left to do the job. HFN pops the song now. I'm not sure what this is about. I don't know if he needed all this, but they're going to go in anyway. And Tano terrorized up. They'll get one, and they'll even find another. Just making sure they get the kill as Pandaboo now catching out Kara with the freezing field. Dark Mago somehow gets the kill on the Invoker. And Rises is going to also be spotted by Matthew now with a nice deep Observer Ward. They won't be able to get the Ursa, but who else have they found? It is going to be Alone now on the Ricky. Dust comes out and does connect. Alone still in danger as the Spirit Vessel is ticking him down. Brambles out. Alone just stands there for a second. Will try to blink strike away, but he does go down regardless. And now Matthew just going to move up to the high ground with the chains out from Oscar into the Tornado of Dark Mago. And the Yules out from the Willow. Rises, gets to the low ground, but the Curse Crown going to stun him up. And he's gone. Death Ward is out. They are going to find Pandaboo, but they're going to lose the Witch Doctor as well. It's surgical play here from Noping, John. Absolutely surgical.
They're just cutting through. Ego Boys have to stagger in one by one. They're not finding any angles. They're not able to take that many objectives beyond the mid. They might lose more as they're not backing off.
Disma, he's going to try and get something. Matthew has not proven to be easy, and they might lose the Earth Spirit. In fact, they do. Matthew, he'll survive. Tano, all his mana drained up, is going to go down. Alone, though, does get one. He wants Dark Mago as a second. Tricks the trade out. Blink Strike not available, so Dark Mago, the Tornado, going to allow him to get out. And now Oscar has the dust, has the chains. And they'll just get more. 29-13, 16.5 minutes into this game. A 9k net worth lead for Noping. And the tips continue to fly out.
I mean, they are just unstoppable. right now. No ping, just domineering on the map. They're still buying space out for their insurance in HFN, and he's actually not going for defusal. It's going to be a straight butterfly, it looks like. So just going for the pure all the raw damage that he can ask for. And once the butterfly is up, he has no worries in the world.
Oh, Kara, he just
Kara?
wants the ward. Just let him have the ward. He's going to get it. He'll get the gold. And he actually walks away as well. Very nice. Into the Death Ward now. Back towards Oscar, but he's going to chain. Magnetize still on the Timber. And he's gone. Rises. Does get something for his time. They will even lose Panda Boo. Not a bad turnaround there from Ego Boys.
Yeah, it's Roar committed though to kill that CM off, so maybe a bit of overkill to get that, but doesn't matter as long as you find something. 29 to 15, a good gold swing of 1,000 going the way of Ego Boys, buys them some time to farm up. Alone is forced to go for the defusal build as he isn't the primary core, so he has to take the step back, just trying to get the defusal to fight. Rises does have his Battle Fury, and they do spot HFN out, but not sure if he can really fight a level 15 Nagas or level 12 Ricky.
I don't think so, but maybe if you get a
Ooh,
nice courier
that's a
snipe.
butterfly gone.
Eagle Song was on the courier indeed. His butterfly now will have to wait for another 2.5 minutes. That being said, HFN, he's barely been fighting, so I guess it really doesn't matter. Maybe it slows down this Roshan they're going to attempt, but that's pretty much it. 2 minutes, you get the butterfly, you group up with your team, and you probably just start killing people again if you are HFN. This Roshan is still dropping very, very quick, regardless of butterfly or not.
Look at the smoke out though. Ego Boys want to circle in. They did scan it out.
They're not going to make it. This isn't the right time to fight. Song is up as well, and they found a pick off. It's going to be alone on the Ricky. This is not the person you want to lose right now, but you have no choice in the matter.
It's looking spicy.
Oscar, obviously very happy on the Timber right now.
Yeah, he's had a great time. They've got the Aegis on Dark Mago, which is the smarter choice as he is squishy, although Matthew.
War out. They are going to find the Willow. That'll be one down, but the freezing field now cancelled the silence. The Death Ward doing a lot here from Kara. They're not cancelling it. Dark Mago almost going to drop as Dismar rolls back in, but there's your net out. They've lost the Aegis. They should be able to find both supports on top. As Dismar going to try and run away, will go down, and of course Oscar is going to chase Kara. And he's not going to get him, Kara. He's going to make it, but he has no TP.
Yeah, this is an awkward spot for the Witch Doctor. Looks like he is going to live as no one else is trying to check, but that's still a pretty big win coming out. Oh.
This courier, look at the angling, John. Oh, it's not going to be in.
No.
Daytime vision?
Nah. Nah. Unfortunate, but you're happy enough, Carol, living through. Gonna have to walk through enemy lines though, so a bit sneaky of a play. And he is spotted by the creep, so he's gonna die now for sure. Look at this.
Tries to skip the creep wave. See ya, Kara.
I mean, he had no choice. He had no way to walk out there. So they take him out. In the end, took a bit longer. And Ego Boys, 33 to 17, 11k deficit. They are trying to build up in rises. He's almost at the BKB, but they're being run over because they're just being invaded in the triangle even.
First crown on the Necromonicon creep is Oscar. Chains straight in onto that Beastmaster. Smokescreen placed, but Tano is not going to be saved. HFN has his courier back up now, so the butterfly should be on the way at any moment. Meanwhile, Dark Mago gonna have a chase here onto Rises, checking the tree line, trying to suss out where this Ursa's gone. Like Rises is gonna be fine this time around. Mago's still around the area. He needs to be a little bit careful as this Ursa is still gonna hit you pretty hard, and he has help coming in. Kara is there along with Dismar. Roll, not going to connect the Ghost Walk, but the Dust out. Alone meanwhile getting Panda Boo, but Dark Mago is the one that's still being chased. He's escaping as he does go for the Spirit Vessel. You do have this Riki round as well, but Matthew controlling him up into the Brambles and the Terrorize, and that is going to mean Alone is going to die alone. Dismar will do the same, and Kara, the sun is going to land on top of his head. It's not going to be enough, but it won't matter because they have Saw Blades. tries for the deny, but Matthew will secure the kill.
Yeah, it's a tough time for Ego Boys. The BKB is at least done on Rises, so he can maybe join these fights, get a few hits off, try to cleave some damage around, but you're going to be dealing with probably 2 butterflies here in HFN. Already has 1 more Talisman of Evasion lined up, is queuing that down, and they could find more as well if you're not careful.
Not the time to farm there, sir. Yules gonna be out. Ice Wall is down. He'll pop the Enrage, but there's so many disables. He's gonna get Yules up. Chakram's still there. Into the Cold Snap. He's forced to BKB now. Turning back around onto HFN, but HFN, he's got that butterfly. It's too hard to hit him at the moment. Tano, meanwhile, trying to fight back, but the Cursed Crown gonna stun him up. A triple kill out for HFN. Another kill onto the Witch Doctor, and Alone is alive, but maybe not for long, as he's been rooted in place. Frostbite there, and HFN might just be able to dive in for this. No one to Blink Strike to any longer, and HFN will finish off the kill.
Oh, man.
Oh, he's going for a double butterfly as well, John.
Yep, he pretty much almost has to go. He's dropping his items as well. Just a couple of things down. Oh, it's just a Quelling Blade, who cares about that? Along with some branches, freeing up some slots. They are going to go for the racks. They do have the response in the supports, and they are fairly low. Maybe you can snipe them. That it is risky.
He's got
give that
Song.
objective away.
HFN, he's fine. And I mean, once he's got this double butterfly up, there's just...
No.
How do you kill
There's
him?
no way. Yeah, roar and maybe Maledict, and then get some magic damage off. Even that's a big, tall order. They've been forced to roar up the supports instead, which tells you about the situation right now for Eagle Boys. They are trying, though, but...
Going in by himself into a full team. Oscar in danger, or rather, Dismar's in danger. Oscar doing a lot of damage, and Dismar is going to drop. Into Rise as they go now. The Ursa does have Enrage, needs some help. Freezing Field, meanwhile, on Tano in the back lines. Looks like Tano has to accept his own death. Now Alone, might want to just jump in, but no, he's been frostbited up. He's been controlled, and he is gone. Sunstrike out as well, but the Yules from Oscar not going to allow the Sunstrike kill. Oscar will take it himself.
And that's going to open up another high ground push, potentially into those tier 4s. They're going to look for the top set of racks first. And the Naga has the second butterfly, so there's that damage. Going straight to tier 4s, they want to end it.
They've got Alacrity as well. And, HFN currently hitting for about 350 damage. Very, very nice. No call yet by Ego Boys, but the Ancient is going to fall before they can get their team up to defend. So this is going to be a 2-0 victory for No Ping. And there's your GG out now from Rises. A great series overall, but No Ping just looking way too strong as HFN. It's not over until the Fat Lady sings. Duh. There you go. Game is now over. No Ping, a dominant series.
Yeah, they come out on top. They just play really well. They have these great picks for HFN. They go back to the Luna. They go for this Naga, the double butterfly working out. And Ego Boys, not quite finding it. They had a good showing yesterday. This time around, not really lining it up. Unfortunately, I think game 1, of course, they didn't give Tiny to Alone for drafting reasons. They had to run the Tiny support. This time around, the mid-Ricky had a pretty good time. But the rotations just weren't on point. The moment they left, Rises was just always caught out by Oscar, and they just couldn't contest HFN's form. So that's something every team fighting against No Ping has to be able to punish. Do not allow HFN to free farm like that. He just comes out on top every time.
We have a similar matchup as well, John. Latam Defenders versus Infamous coming up next. Both these two teams are currently at first and second place respectively in Group B. So a very similar matchup. I'm not sure if there's going to be any ping issues between these two teams or whether we're going to have to choose specific servers. I suppose we'll confirm once we go into the first draft, but that first draft is set to begin in roughly 10 to 15 minutes. Until then, it's MLP Dota on John X Fire. We'll see you all again as soon as that first draft is available.